Today, the church remembers Mary Magdalene. All four Gospels give her a unique place among Jesus' followers. Probably from Magdala by the Sea of Galilee, she's described as having been healed by Jesus before accompanying him on his ministry. Along with other faithful women, she stays beside the cross during the crucifixion and is then first to discover the empty tomb on Easter morning. She's privileged with being the first person to see the risen Jesus, who sends her to take the good news of the resurrection to the other disciples. This commission earns her the title Apostle to the Apostles in the early church. Magdala was situated on the west coast of Galilee, and its occupations revolved around fishing. Much of Jesus' ministry happened around Galilee, and this is probably how Mary meets him when she's suffering from some form of mental illness. Mark's Gospel tells us Jesus cast 7 demons out of her, which in our terms might suggest schizophrenia. She's mentioned 14 times in the Bible, but little else is said about her other than her illness and cure. Luke also tells of her healing, but the other Gospels tell of her closeness to Jesus in the last days of his life and her encounter with him at his resurrection. We know she spoke Hebrew because she uses the term Rabboni to address Jesus when she meets him outside the empty tomb. It's also thought she has money, as Luke includes her name with the other women described as using their own resources to support Jesus' ministry. Contrary to some opinions, there's no evidence she was a prostitute. Pope Gregory I may be responsible for this misconception, as he linked Mary Magdalene, Mary of Bethany, and the woman described as a sinner who anoints Jesus as being all the same person. This resulted in a widespread but inaccurate belief that she was a repentant prostitute or promiscuous woman. But what little is recorded in the Gospels contradicts this theory. What is clear is how much she loves Jesus and what a loyal and devoted follower she is of him, and how this love leads her to be the first person to encounter the risen Jesus. A love depicted in this painting by the German artist Sager Koda. It's also possible this misconception comes from the attitude to illness at the time. In the Old Testament, health was traditionally regarded as a religious matter. God was all-powerful, so he was responsible for health and disease, and illness was viewed as a result of a wrong relationship with him. In New Testament times, we find doctors such as Luke, and the suggestion of remedies from herbs, wines, and oils. However, there's little doubt that the mentally sick, of whom Mary Magdalene had been one, was one of lonely suffering. Although mental disorders are mentioned in the Bible, there's scant reference to any attempts to explain or heal them before the time of Jesus. This loneliness and isolation can still be true today. Although great advances have been made in the diagnosis and treatment of mental conditions, there's still a stigma surrounding them. We can be grateful to those in the media who highlight the need for greater understanding and care. There are now major concerns about people's mental health as a result of this current pandemic. And so I invite your prayers, both for yourself and for others. May the Holy Spirit be a light in our darkness, a companion in our loneliness, and oil on the troubled waters of our minds. And may we come to love Jesus as much as Mary of Magdala.